Jai Jinendra. I am Raina Giria, Sayojika.
I am Khushi Betala, Sahasayojika.
We are from Surat, Kanya, Mandal.
What is religion? One may say it as a worshipping. Some would say it's a center of belief and faith. But no one really knows how to define it.
It is the central focus of a person's faith. It tends to support us not just spiritually but emotionally, like a beacon of hope during tough times.
The word religion has been used and explained in various senses such as traditions, customs, devotion, system of belief, etc. But how can one truly identify it?
Before we understand the way to identify religion, we need to take a look at Laukik and Lokotar Dharam. Laukik Dharam, those activities or deeds which are advantageous to people and the world. Examples, feeding birds and helping the poor. Lokotar Dharam, those activities or deeds which are beneficial to one's soul, such as doing a samayik, meditating.
Acharya Bhikshu has given us straightforward yet meaningful and accurate definition without getting entangled in philosophical terminology and mysteries.
त्याग धर्म है, भोग धर्म नहीं है. The conduct which is permitted by the Arhant or Tirthankar is dharam. The conduct which is not permitted by Arhant or Tirthankar is not dharam. It can also be said that the activity which violates the permission of an Arhant is not dharam.
संयम धर्म है, असंयम धर्म नहीं है.
Self-restraint is dharam, incontinence is not dharam.
Self-restraint means a sense of control on one's senses, indriya, mind, man, and instincts, vritya. For example, limiting one's consumption of clothes would help in controlling your urges, aid in sustainability of the environment, and save your money as well. Practicing vow of silence, Maun Vrat, helps us in calming our minds down and aids in focusing. After all, a meaningful silence is always better than meaningless words.
Before we move further, one should take a note that Tyag, Sanyam and Agya are connected. By doing Tyag, we do Sanyam and follow Agya.
उपदेश धर्म है, बल प्रयोग धर्म नहीं है.
Preaching is dharam, use of force is not dharam.
Dharma can be practiced only when there is a conversion of heart through preaching or by the experiments of sadhana. Nobody can be forced to follow dharma. When there is force, there cannot be change of heart.
Once there was a butcher who used to slaughter 100 cows each day. The word spread about his ruthlessness and reached the king. The king took an immediate measure by throwing him in a dry well. He thought that his cruelty would stop if he doesn't get an opportunity to do it. But the butcher had made up his mind. So even while sitting in the well, he sculpted cows, figures in his mind and slaughtered them as well.
अनमोल धर्म है, मूल्य से प्राप्त होने वाला धर्म नहीं है.
Dharma is an invaluable and priceless element. It cannot be bought by money or by any other means. What is bought cannot be dharma.
It is necessary to know that the dharma cannot be obtained by indulgence, disobedience, incontinence, use of force and money. Dharma is the conduct which is permitted by Arhat, Tirthankar or Vitarag. The interpretation of dharma is original and dispels many misconceptions.
Punya Shravak, a worshipper of Lord Mahavir, lived in the city of Rajgriha. He was not financially prosperous. Punya used to do a samayik every day. This practice kept his life filled with equanimity. Lord Mahavir himself used to mention about his samayik in his discourses. One day, King Shrenik asked Lord Mahavir how he could change the bondage of his previously bound state of hell. Bhagavan said, if you can buy a samayik of punya, then you can save yourself from hell.
In the next morning, King Shrenik reached Punya's hut. When he saw the king in his courtyard without any reason or invitation, he became very happy. At the same time, he was wondering why the king had arrived. Shrenik asked, do you do samayik every day?
Punya, yes, your highness, samayik is the first step of my day.
Shrenik, you have done a lot of samayik and are still doing it. Can you give me a share of your samayik?
Punya, How is this possible, Your Highness?
Shrenik, do not be afraid. I will not take it for free. Take as much money as you want, but give me one samaik. So tell me the price.
Punya, Your Highness, this is the deal of spirituality. There cannot be a fixation of fabricated value.
Shrenik, who can tell its fair value?
Punya, Lord Mahavir is the foremost businessman of this business. Apart from him, who will be able to evaluate?
Shrenik took Punya along with him to Lord Mahavir and after narrating the whole incident said, Lord, you are the Almighty. Tell me how much should I pay for a share in his samai?
Bhagwan smiled for a moment and said, Shrenik, the price of brokering a samaik is many times more than the overall splendor of your kingdom. Then what will be the cost of sharing? You yourself think. Shrenik was astonished and he understood the importance of samaik and dharma.